If you want your content to perform better, you need to learn how to tell better stories. These are 5 storytelling secrets that will massively improve how your content is received by the people watching it. I can guarantee by the end of watching this video, you will look at how you tell stories in your videos completely different. And if you implement these strategies the same way I did, you will see a massive spike in engagement from your content. They're taken from my YouTuber program that goes deep dive into everything it takes to be a successful YouTuber. And in tip number 4, it's gonna cover one of the biggest mistakes I see almost all creators make. But before we get to that one, and for that one to make sense, we need to cover these other ones first. So let's jump straight into it with tip number 1. Flow. All great stories have flow. It's a balance between context and conflict. Your people are going about their day, and then boom, some conflict gets thrown into it. They spend some time figuring out that little bit of conflict, and they keep going on their day, giving some context to something next, and then boom, another piece of conflict. The reason this works so well is because it creates these open feedback loops within our brain, and naturally, we want to close those loops by giving some form of resolution to those conflicts. The scriptwriters for the show South Park put this in one of the most easy and simple ways to understand, and what they said was this: if your story unfolds in any way that goes, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, you have gone massively wrong. You really want to avoid having the statement or words "and then" in between any different parts of your story, and rather replace them with things like, this happened, therefore this happened, but this happened, therefore this happened. And if you can do that in your story, it gives it this flow through it where it's setting up context and then having this conflict and then having a resolution every single time, rather than saying "and then." If you say "and then," it kind of feels like you're just stacking information on top of each other, which makes it very easy for your viewer to just lose interest and move on. Tip 2 is direction. One of the easiest ways to start a story, even though sometimes counterintuitive, is at the end. This is the easiest way to give your video a clear direction and then work backwards from then. This is especially effective if you're doing something like a vlog, or you're capturing your day and you don't really know how it's gonna unfold. You can make sure that you have that last line of your script as where you want your viewers to arrive, or the thing that they want to be left with, and then figure out everything of how your subject or story gets to that point, making it feel far more cohesive and feel like it has a direction, rather than kind of just being all over the place. Nothing really fits together or works to form this like linear story with some direction in it. I like to think about it as if someone was to hear only my last line of the script, it would still be impactful enough for them to share it with a friend. What are you going to leave them with? Focus on that very last line, work back, use nice flow like in tip 1 to get there at the end. Before we get to tip 4, and the thing that almost all creators get wrong, let's go to tip 3, and that is to have one core idea. See, rather than trying to cram in a whole bunch of different little subplots and different categories all into just one video under the same roof, make sure that your video focuses on one core theory or one core idea and stick to that, rather than jumping around between too many things. This can make it confusing and not have a clear direction for your video when the person is watching that back. Focusing on one ultimate goal or story makes it far easier for the viewer to be engaged with that video, knowing where this is kind of leading to and seeing what the outcome might be at the end. That last liner that we covered in the previous tip. Let's take someone that had a fishing channel, for example. Instead of our fishing guy going like, okay, in this video, I'm gonna make it about how I set up my gear and where I find the best fishing spots, and also how I use bait to catch fish and how to catch more fish. Then he kind of goes about showing all of these different things, kind of making it confusing, and it's a bit of this and a bit of that. Split it up, that's 4 different video ideas rather than putting all of those ideas into one video. So you could rather make one simple context, one simple idea, a core message through a video going, how to find the best fishing spots, how to set up gear to catch more fish, best bait for fishing. You get the idea. But putting too much into one video, although sometimes it seems like you're just offering more value and making sub-stories and all these interesting different things, often just kind of dilutes that core message, which is likely going to be an aspect of your title and thumbnail, probably your initial setup of your video, and the reason that people are actually there. Everything else is just kind of fluff and distracting from that main core message that you want people to follow and be engaged with. One of the most important parts about storytelling is creating the feeling that you need to further push that story or emotion that you're trying to convey to your viewer. Doing this with music is one of the easiest ways, but finding the correct music to fit with your kind of emotion or story is incredibly time consuming and often just kind of misses the mark altogether. Audio's new feature, Hands AI, literally lets you type in some different little keywords or scripts or descriptive words of the content that you are trying to find a track for. And by using AI, it matches a whole list of perfect tracks that will fit with the video that you're trying to work on. So instead of kind of just randomly going through all of these different songs trying to find the one that matches your script, you can literally just tell audio, Hands AI, what your video is about. This is your little theme and script, and they're gonna spit out tracks that will perfectly match that scene. Let's say you had someone that was driving this cool Landy down the beach and you want something chill. Type that in. What about something more upbeat of someone skating fast down a road? It's super helpful. It's going to save you a huge amount of time. Try it in your videos now with the link down below for the audio website. They're running a special and were kind enough to hook us up with a little discount. And if you sign up now, you get 70% off of your annual plan with audio. Go check it out. Number 4 is the hook. This is so important and one of the most commonly spoken about things, and for good reason. If you don't nail the hook, none of this other stuff matters because people aren't going to stick around to even see it. But here's what most people get wrong about the hook. We go into a lot of detail with hooks and setups within the YouTuber program, which the waitlist is still open for if you want to check it out. It's not available to everyone, but you can get on that waitlist now. And this is what the people are actually doing wrong. So the first line of your video should be as punchy and as indicative of what the rest of the video is about as possible. This is the best fishing technique, what you don't know about catching fish. You should not use vague terms that so many people often use because they think that they're creating this enticement or curiosity. It's actually not. So using things like, wait till you see this, or you're not gonna believe this, or something like that. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything for the viewer. And if that first line doesn't absolutely grab and captivate that viewer, you're done. Here's how to really level up your hooks though. Visual hooks are 10 times more effective than audio hooks. If all you are giving the viewer is the words that you're saying with your mouth moving on screen and maybe some captions dancing around, it is not nearly as effective of having a visual explanation of what you're talking about that the viewer can interact and react to. People's eyes can perceive what's happening on screen far quicker than the ears can hear what's going on. And it's the reason that I use so many of these visual hooks that you'll see with all of these little different graphical animations on my videos, because it further explains what I'm talking about, giving the viewer something to engage with and react to. So many people ask me how I do these. It's an incredibly complicated process of building them out in After Effects, and it takes hours to create each little piece of the graphic. But I actually managed to pack all of these different After Effects animations and graphics into a MoGart pack that is workable within Premiere Pro. And now it means that you can literally just click and drag and drop these different animations, all completely customizable and changeable to fit exactly what you want, with colors, backgrounds, fonts, movements, and everything in between. They are only available for Premiere. Make sure you know that, because it's a MoGart pack that's built in After Effects. If you want to take your visual hooks to a whole new level, as well as just make your videos more stimulating and interesting, they're on a launch sale right now. So you can check them out down below. You get that whole pack. There's a bunch of different graphics assets in there, and it's how I am creating all of these things within my videos these days. I get that comment so many times on every single video, so I thought I would put this together to help you guys be able to achieve these same graphics in your videos with zero of the effort. Tip 5 is be authentic and true to yourself. People and your viewers are incredibly smart at telling when something isn't authentic and the story just comes across as kind of forced. They have a really good sensor for this. And if you're trying to push something or make something that isn't authentic to yourself, it's going to give the viewer that exact feeling. Almost all topics have been covered in some way or another on this platform these days because of the sheer volume of content that keeps going out. If there's one thing I can suggest about this, it's to add your own unique spin or look at a same topic that's been covered through your own unique lens. Put your own perspective into something, your own experience, your own way that you learn something, how you went about achieving something in your own specific way, and tell the story through your unique lens. Nobody else has that. Nobody else has covered your story and the way that you see things and do things. This makes it feel real, like you're talking to a friend. A great storyteller can talk to you so directly that it feels like you're sitting right there in the room with them. I do my absolute best to make it feel this way, and hopefully it feels like you're sitting right here in this warehouse with me and I'm speaking to you directly, because that's the goal of all of this. This is much easier to do when you are being genuine about what you're talking about and sharing your unique story. I hope this was useful and it can help you tell your stories in a far more effective way. Remember to check out Hans AI to find the perfect track to match whatever story it is that you're trying to tell, as well as that graphics pack to get your visual hooks to a whole new level. That's it. Also, what do you think about this new little setup with the Landy in it? I think it's quite cool. This warehouse is really coming together and it's so fun setting up all of these different little angles and everything. But see you in the next one. Have fun. Bye.